Um, Kyla's going to do her training that I'm super excited to take notes on. So make sure you have a pen and paper, and then we'll go right into a work with me right after. So take it away, girlfriend.
Great. Thanks for having me. I look up to you as a leader. I really do. You're an incredible woman, mom, thriver, very successful. You guys are really blessed to have her as a leader on your team. I think that this is a really cool topic because people a lot of times are looking for that sudden success. Like we all jump in and we're like, okay, what's the secret? What do I have to do to be successful? I see Stephanie on here, y'all. She's one of my ride or dies from the beginning. She saw me at the park with my kids. She saw I was doing laundry and I posted it on Facebook. And she was like, what are you taking? That's how I shared it with her. And so remember that as we talk today about what we're going to do to find success, it was real life back then. Remember back when you first started thriving, you were just excited about how you felt. And sometimes we start to overthink. The longer we are in this business, we want to get somewhere. So we start overthinking instead of just living in the moment and being present in who we are as a person. So I'm looking at Stephanie and I'm thinking, what a journey. I started this in November of 2014. So it's been quite a long time. And the things that we learn along the way are what propels us in our life and in our business. And I think that that's the most important. You hear that a lot from different leaders, that this business is personal development with the paycheck. I cannot even describe how much my life has changed by implementing things I've learned, plugging into leaders like Jennifer, plugging into our CEOs that just pour into us all the time. The getaways are awesome. The VIP events are unmatched. But guys, what's more than that is what we get from that in the relationships that we have at our fingertips. So I just pray that you guys are plugging in to build the business that you want to be successful at. So when I say what's the secret to the sudden success, I want to talk about the work, the steady work that goes in behind the sudden success. I think it's funny that a lot of the times it's like people see the result, but they don't see what goes in behind that. And so a lot of times I'll get people that come up to me and they're like, oh, I'm just not as lucky as you. I didn't get in early enough. No, sister, I'm not lucky. I just work really hard. I put sacrifices out that equal boundaries in my life or time blocking to work my business. It's the steady work that gives you the sudden success that people see. It's the work behind that gives you the sudden that people see, if that makes sense. What I got this idea from, I'm a super spiritual person. This totally sidetracking, but I'm not really a religious person, I wouldn't say, but spiritual in the sense of I believe that everything has a purpose. And God has intricately designed all of us for this time and this place. And there's a story in the Bible about Elisha, and he's digging these ditches because the land is dry. And God says, dig ditches. And he's like, why am I digging ditches? And he says, you won't see wind and you won't see rain, but all of a sudden you will have water. There's a huge story behind that, but it's true. All of the sudden, water filled these ditches in a drought that they were in, but he had to dig the ditch first. He had to be faithful to what he heard and to what he did. And so I'm going to put that into our business today because successful people aren't lucky. It's what we put our focus in, what we put our energy into, where we dig those ditches with persistence and with drive and with dedication that we see the sudden success. What people see as sudden, we see as steady. So steady work, steady dedication, steady commitment to what you're doing. In this life, I feel like it requires progress. So if you feel like you're stagnant, you just have to decide to do something different. A couple of lunch leaderships ago, Jason was on a call and he talked about doing the same thing over again as the definition of insanity. So I had talked on Sheila's call not too long ago about what we were going to do different this summer to create a different result. So if you're not where you want to be in your business, you need to take a steady look in the mirror and decide that you're going to do some things different. That's going to feel very uncomfortable because normal, especially as a mom, so I have a 12-year-old, a 9-year-old, and a 14-month-old. Talk about a gap. She was a surprise. totally threw me, right? I was in a groove with a 12 and a 9, business is booming, right? Then we have a baby and everything, it's like an apple basket turnover. I had to shift everything I was doing because everything changed all of the sudden, right? So I had to change what my steady looked like to get to the results that I wanted to have. So it's not that I don't have time. I just have to make something that I think I should do, something that I must do. So a lot of times people are like, oh, I really, I've got to work out. And some people are like, oh, I should probably work out. Well, guess what? The people that are like, I've got to work out, probably work out. The people that are like, I should work out, probably don't. And it's like the crapshoot on if they do or if they don't have the results that you have. You have to make this business and I must do XYZ steadily to get to the results that we want to have. I must do 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 at the bare minimum to get to where I want to go. And we're going to go into that. I'm going to go into how I do that and what I do specifically to maybe kind of help you narrow it down. Sometimes I feel like we're fishing, right? That's a good analogy. We're fishing for new thrivers. But if you're just throwing a blanket out there, you're not going after a specific fish. Maybe your bait's is bad. Maybe you chose the wrong place. You're fishing for a bass in salt water. That doesn't work, right? So you've got to figure out what it is that you have to do and what target you're going to reach. So I think one of the limiting beliefs that we put on ourselves is we don't believe in our success enough to make a measurable goal. I'm not really against I'm not really for like smart measurable goals. I'm more for like the big audacious goal. And then I kind of go backwards into what I need to do to get there. If you have a smart and a measurable goal, I think that's good and you can stair step, but don't limit yourself and limit your belief and limit your actions to just small things. Go big or go home. So I feel like that's the success cycle, right? You got to have the potential. You've got to see it. You got to take the action, which is what we're going to talk about. Then you'll see the results and then your belief will grow. But if you don't have the belief, do you even see the potential? It's really a cycle that you have to understand is all there if you're putting in the steady work to get to the result that you want to have. So steady is what makes you have a sudden result. That's the secret. It's the steady flow. It's not sudden. It's all of the sudden to people that are looking, but it's steady to the person that's behind the computer working their business every single day. So what do you do to have that? How do you do that? You've got to plug in to your community and to your resources. I know that you guys have a shit ton of resources on your team. I know that Jennifer's put together all of these fundamental series. I actually watched the other day the AI and the smart sampling that Jennifer put on. Loved them. Still have not implemented that into what I'm doing, but it's on my mind to do because if just listening to something, just plugging into the trainings, you can get so stuck in this like analysis paralysis where you're like analyzing your business and you're planning to do all of this stuff, but you never actually take action to do it. So I want you today to write down what are your non-negotiables and don't bullshit. Sorry, you got to know me. Like I love the Lord, but I also have a terrible mouth sometimes. It just comes out. Don't kid yourself in thinking, okay, my non-negotiables are 5 reach outs and 4 follow-ups. When is the last time you actually did that? So I want you to write down currently, what are your non-negotiables? What does your day look like? Does it include your business? Just take a minute and write that down. When you're thinking about that, maybe draw a line on your paper, and on the other side of your paper, I want you to put, what should your non-negotiables be? What do you need to do in your business to be successful? Where do you find yourself getting lost in the scroll? How can we do that? And I'm going to make a thing at the end where we can ask some questions and get some answers and kind of feed off of each other for maybe some tips or tricks from the people that have done this longer to get you out of that rut, right? So first of all, in your morning stuff, you need to have your 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 in, right? Because that's the foundation of our business. If you're steady in that bare minimum, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, you will find success after the steady work. So we all know what 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 is: 5 reach outs, 4 follow-ups, 3 social posts, adding 2 names to your list, and a connection to your leader. I want to break that down further. I want to help you get the right bait to the right fish. So for me, what I do is every week, usually on Sundays, just because it's always been that way for some reason. Hey, and you know what? Maybe I should change that up just to keep things fresh. But I want to plan content. I want to plan content for the next week. I know that you guys have those work with me's for an hour. You have the perfect time to plan some content. In that time period, you need to figure out, what fish are you going after? What part of your pillars, 5 pillars, we talk about identity a lot. I'm a mom, I'm a baseball mom, I'm a dance mom, I'm a mom that's home for the summer with kids that are eating my pantry clean, I'm refilling my fridge more. That equals money, so freedom. What are you going after right now? You need to write that down, because as you plan your content for the week, you need to focus your posts on those people. So what I do is on Sundays, I think, what am I going after this week? Stephanie, right now she's at home with no kids because their kids are at their dad's. So she's a day in the life of the mom that has no kids, right? She's trying to get after moms in summer with no kids. Very specific. So your post can specifically target a certain person. Then plan your entire week, 5 days, go Monday through Friday, Monday through Saturday, to that specific person. I'm talking like include hashtags. What hashtags go to that mom? And then use the same ones, follow the same ones, use that same energy behind that to really target a specific group of people that specific week. If you're like sporadic here and there, like this week you're over here in saltwater fishing, this day you're over here in freshwater fishing, this day you're just chilling on the beach, this day you're reading a book, those specific people aren't going to see your stuff every single day. So it's important that you've got a mass net out so that these people in this target audience at some point are going to see what you have to offer. Also, in my reach outs, I'm showing love and I'm interacting with the people I'm targeting. So if I'm posting about working out, but I'm targeting tired, exhausted moms, do you think that they really are connecting? Because they're not even thinking they have time to work out. I remember when I first got started, Scotty McClatchy would tell me, you work this business in the nooks and crannies of your day. I'm just going to be really real. This is how my mind works. I was a mommy that did not have nooks and crannies, and I was so aggravated that some dude was going to tell me about nooks and crannies. I wanted to respond, you think that because you're a dude and you don't do half the shit that I do as a mom. But I understand now what he's saying. He was talking about take your phone to the bathroom, do your reach outs on the toilet, whatever. I get it. But in the moment of being a tired, exhausted mommy, there is no way I would have connected with somebody that spends 2 hours in the gym. I don't have time for that. So if I'm trying to connect to tired, exhausted mommies, my content needs to be focused to solutions of tired, exhausted mommies. How do I schedule meals so that my kids eat better? How do I schedule my day so I have 20 minutes to myself? Those are the kinds of things tired, exhausted mommies want to see. How do you organize this to get to that? Because I'm too exhausted to do anything different. How do I get to here when I've got 3 kids constantly on my legs? So that's what are the hashtags behind that? Tired mommy, mommy of 3, boy mom, girl mom, summer vibes, like whatever it is. Go research those things, choose that stuff, write it down, plan your content for the week so that when you're doing your 5 reach outs, when you're showing interaction and love to warm up your Facebook and warm up your Instagram, you're doing it to people in your target so that when they come back, they see the solution to their problem. Does that make sense? Drop a heart in the chat if that makes sense, or any kind of emoji. It doesn't have to be a heart. But if you're following what I'm saying, I want you to put something in the chat so I know I can move on. You've got to make it to where your target sees your stuff and they connect. If you're posting on Facebook about 2 hours in the gym and you're looking at a brand new mom, that's not going to work, right? That brand new mom does not see herself able to go to the gym, but she does see herself, having 20 minutes while the baby naps and talking about maybe ways to self-care from the couch. You could talk about breathing. You could talk about closing your eyes and meditating. You could talk about gratitude journaling, quiet things that she can do from the couch, right? So what I like to do for my posting, so to say, and I'll be real with y'all, this is in a perfect world scenario. Sometimes in my life, I get to one post a day on Facebook and Instagram and a reel. I try to do a reel and a post every single day. Sometimes in a perfect world, I can do what I'm going to tell you, but at least this will give you a way to plan your content so that you have enough when you're ready. So my first post, my first interaction is going to be motivational. The good morning messages, the motivation, the inspiration. Inspiration that is personal to me because I want to find the target audience that I connect to. I connect to red personalities. I connect to moms. I connect to moms that love Jesus but drop the F-bomb. I connect to real people. I like realness. I like bold people with opinions. That's just me. Who do you connect to? Who do you want to motivate? Who do you want to encourage? Do that as your first post. Before you go into that post though, go warm up Facebook. Do your birthday messages, kind of get Facebook rolling, Instagram rolling, love on some posts. The people that you're targeting, remember, because we've written those people down, they're on our list. I think that's probably the hardest part, is really focusing on the people from your list. A long time ago, I think it was Beth Graves, she had put a sticky note challenge out and she had 100 sticky notes and she focused on those 100 people. That's a hard thing to actually execute, but it's a genius thing because that 100 people is exactly who she's targeting. Those are who she's showing post love to. Those are who she's interacting and commenting with. Those are who she's connecting for her planning, for her content. It's a target audience, and you're going to get a lot further when you're shooting at a target versus blindly shooting, right? So when you're in your car, you turn on GPS to an end location, right? If you're in your car and you turn on GPS to nowhere, you have nowhere to go. You have no route to take. You've got to have that end goal. So first of all, you want to do some motivation. That's easy, right? That's Pinterest, that's Bible verses, that's easy stuff. Second is your target audience post. What do you want that to be? What's your target? What are we talking about? Plan that out. And then third, maybe you're alternating target audience product. I try to put some kind of sneaky product post in there. Now, I'm not one that just sells Thrive on my social. I don't want to be that person, but I do want to give it credit where it needs to be. So there's a DFT in my picture, or there's a shaker cup in my picture, and I'm talking about energy or something. Anybody that likes, comments, or whatever's on my picture, I'm going to go into the DM and I'm going to say, hey girl, I see you. Thanks for the post, love. If nothing else, that's my response. If there's no kind of interaction, communication, conversation being started, hey girl, I see you. Thank you for the post, love. That's a short text in my phone. Another short text in my phone are the hashtags I'm using that week. So just kind of FYI, by short text, I mean in your phone, under settings, general, keyboard, you can do text replacement. If you need more on that, just drop it in the comments, but general settings, keyboard, text replacement, I just type the word hashtag and then I change the hashtags that go with that. And that's an easy way to make those hashtags show up under every post. I typically make them a comment, or if they're in my stories, I just put them in my stories and I slide them off the screen so you can't even see them. All right. Then you're going to do your 4 follow-ups. Your 4 follow-ups are based on the people that you're targeting. So if you're not, this is another hard one in my opinion. If you're not specifically focused on a certain group of people, who do you know to follow up with? Who do you have to follow up with? Sure, you can follow up with your existing customers, and you should. But in this particular setting, I'm talking about new business. Where's the success that you want that's in new business? So maybe it's the people loving Thrive posting on their social media. Those posts that have likes, comments, or reactions, those people need to be in chats, right? They need 3-way chats. That person needs to be thriving for free. That's new business. That's a whole other area of content to plan. But when you're sharing with the Thriver, one of the things that I tell people is, okay, and this is another short text in my phone, if you're feeling brave, go post this and tag me. And it gives them a script. Getting back to something I know works. I can't wait to, and then it's blank. So whatever they told me they wanted, if it was energy, if it was better sleep, if it was more patience because they're an exhausted mommy, if it was a better workout, whatever it is, we fill in the blank. I can't wait to get back to something I know works. I can't wait to experience blah, 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 blah. And then we go with that in the post. And then when they have likes, comments, or reactions, I say, get those people in a 3-way chat with me. So I'm setting them up to show them how to start that 3-way chat to get them thriving for free. I want to open up their network to me. That would be a good follow-up time. Good resources for follow-ups. We already talked about the 3 social posts, and then adding 2 names to your list. This one's easy for me. I could add 20 names a day. Remember in the beginning, we talked about focusing your content. So following certain hashtags or whatever. Go to Instagram and go to that hashtag. You're going to find that explore screen for that hashtag. Search through those and find some people that also are in those hashtags. Those are names that you're now adding to your hundreds list. Those are names that you want to write down so that you can go to their page. You can maybe love their first 9 that you find attractive or appropriate or whatever. Make some comments on their pictures. Make sure they see you, and then see if you can't get some reciprocated response. Maybe follow, see if they follow you back, but keep that name on your list as a lead. I say this all the time to myself. I could care less what these people think of me. I'll never meet them in my life. I'm really not here to find a massive amount of friends on social media. I'm here to find friends on social media that I can impact their life. I want to change their situation. So I want people that are hungry for change. So when I'm searching and throwing out my net under this hashtag, when I'm looking for those people that I want to follow up with, I'm going to put their name down, because if they're not reciprocating the love, following back, starting a conversation, or interested in change, they're off my list. They're no longer on my feed. It's really easy for your feed to get really mundane, and you find yourself scrolling, seeing the same people over and over again and calling it work. Guys, that's not work. You have to be producing results for it to be work. I tell people this all the time. My Facebook does not look like my neighbor's Facebook. Everyone thinks Facebook's so fun. Oh my God, my kids' school, they're like, we posted it on Facebook. I don't see shit about my kids' school on Facebook because it has nothing to do with what I use on social media. Nothing. My mom, she's the same way. She's like, oh, did you see Braven and Bowden, my 2 nephews, but I put it on Facebook? No, I don't follow any of my family, not because I don't love them, but because that's not what I use social for. I use social because I want to build a $1 billion business. So make your Facebook about business, not about things that aren't going to produce business. If you are going to keep that stuff on your social media, just make sure that you have those mirror conversations and you say, okay, I've scrolled. I've kept my list. You can even separate lists. I don't get into all that because it's too techie for me, but you can have like friends list, family list, business list, and you can like swap the list. That was the old thing people did. I'm pen and paper. Guys, I'm going to show y'all right now. This is my 90-day. I was going to show y'all this game plan paper. I don't know where I found this. It was a long time ago. It's somewhere, but I just make copies of them. And it's basically your 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 with like your checklists of people. And then you give yourself like weekly goals and tracking for PV, QB, PPA. And this is my list. So when I've got my names on my list, I can work from this paper. I'm old school. I'm not good at online. So like TeamZ and even the 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 in our cloud, it's amazing tools if that's your route. But for me, I found that I'm always on the go, and this shit can go with me to baseball. So I know I can keep working. So that's just my personal thing. And then the last one, number 1, is connection with your leader. So you've got the 5 reach outs, the 4 follow-ups, the 3 social posts, 2 or 3, 2, 1. I mean, just make sure you're consistent. That's the point of that. Adding names to your list, and then the connection with your leader. I don't pick up the phone and call Starla, but I sure will text her. I sure will plug into her team huddles. I sure will be on her page to make sure I'm not missing. And of course, you've got tons of chats. So make sure that you're plugged in and you're connected. Make sure that you're using that specific content, that specific target. I'm such an analogy person, but like throwing that net out over a specific group, right? Versus like random ass leads everywhere with no consistency, you're just not going to get as far as you want to go. You're consistent in thriving, and that's wonderful. You have not done anything wrong if you've consistently posted about Thrive. But what we want to do is we want to get better at the steady focus so that we can have that success that we want. And if you focus steady, I guarantee you, Jennifer would tell you, she focuses specifically on certain people at certain times. It's not just a free for all. It's like one of the sessions I sat in at Palooza, Lindsay Coggin talked about belly bloat and gut health. That is her niche. That's it. She focuses strictly on belly bloat and gut health all the time. So when you see her social, you see that. You can absolutely 100% tell what her net is after. Does your social media look like that? That steady content, steady focus, steady action. Guys, remember that. Steady will take you to sudden. Steady will take you to success. Inconsistent will take you nowhere. Inconsistent will have you treading water. And then I told someone the other day, I think it was on Sheila's call, I was like, it was one of those moods, right? And I ended up saying, you've got to be mature enough to grow up before you quit. Guys, this business is work. But if you're mature enough to know, hey, I'm not perfect. And this season of my life, y'all, having Collins, my youngest one, took me out for about a year. I mean, no lie. And my business showed that. So I had to be humble enough and mature enough to recognize, all right, girlfriend, get back on the wagon, right? And then grow so that I didn't quit. And I think a lot of the times, a lot of people will say, oh, I just can't. I don't have that luck. I don't have that time. Those are limiting beliefs. It's not about lucky. It's not about having the time. It's about making the time. Life requires progress, so you've got to keep going. You've got to keep building, believing in yourself, keep plugging in, and keep doing the steady to get you to that success. I have not checked the chat. I'm going to do that really quick. If y'all have any questions, let me know. That was a fast 30 minutes. If you have time to pee, you have time to post. That's so true. And that's this perfect like example of if you have your shit ready in your notes, if you have that content planned, when you're peeing, you can post. All you got to do is copy paste. That's all you got to do. So just plan it out. Y'all have any questions for me? I would love to hear if y'all got anything that you want more clarity on.
So when you do your 5, 4, 3, 2, 1s, do you like time block that out like in a solid time, like one time frame, or do you like break it up between a few different time spots?
I have a few different times in the day that I do business, period. So if I'm going to do 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, it really depends on the role that I'm on. And in my life, it just takes a lot of recognizing and self-discipline. So a lot of the times I'm going to take this and show you. And if you're on my team, you know, you'll find me like this on the floor in the kitchen because the baby's entertained and I'm now squatting on my phone and I'm working, right? So what does that work look like? Okay, I know in my head, I have not made my first post. I need to do that. But before I do that, I need to do my birthdays so that my stuff is warmed up. So I just know what my IPAs look like. So birthdays, loving, following those hashtags, getting that ready. I know what those are. And then in certain time blocks. So when Collins is napping, when she's napping, that's when I really go hard because I actually have about 2 hours to do my follow-ups. I actually have time to process orders. Hey girl, I saw this. Let's get it going. Are you ready? I'm the kind of person too that sends it out and I'll say, hey, take a look at this and I'll follow up with you tomorrow. Because in my world, busy mommy, I don't have time to drop everything and do it right now. So I don't expect someone else to. So like yesterday, there was this girl, Ashley. She asked me a question about which DFT, blah, 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 blah. I said, hey, take a look at this at some point in your busy day, because I know your baby makes you busy. And I'll plan on following up with you tomorrow at Collins nap time. That gives her time. That gives me time. And I know today I've got 4 of those in her nap time that I need to do. Does that make sense? So it's time blocks, but it's each one at different times. I could probably get even more focused, like you said, and do all of my reach outs at the first, be really focused, all of my follow-ups at the next, be really focused. But I'm not that way, but I always have room to get better.
Don't we all?
Yeah, don't we all?
Well, this was awesome. Does anybody have any comments they want to share? Any questions they have for Kyla? I know I loved what you said about, oh, go ahead, Talita.
I just want to like narrow down my niche. I know I'm married, but I'm single mom for like 5-6 months or something like that. And I have a teenager. We have 3 dogs. We have a yard, everything and anything of a mom doing. And I ride my Peloton. So I just want to narrow down like which way I need to focus, because I focus for Peloton moms, I focus like single moms, I focus like teenager moms, and all those things. I need more energy to do all that. I wake up at 4:30 or 5 o'clock in the morning. I go to bed like 10 in the evening. So,
Wow.
and I run the household for 3-4 months. So I'm kind of like everywhere.
Mm-hmm.
Makes sense.
Mm-hmm. So I'm hearing you say that you want to focus down more. So I wouldn't take any of those away, because those are amazing, right? You're married but single. I'm like that too. I always say that I was a married but single mommy because Wyatt traveled Monday through Friday. And actually, when he came home, it was harder, right? My circle was rolling, and then he'd come home and put a dent in it. And I'm like, what the heck, man? So anyways, I get that part. The teen mom, huge. The dog mom, that is a massive market. So that one definitely could be narrowed down. You could talk about a specific dog. There's like specific Facebook groups for specific dogs. I'm a lab and a Yorkie mom. So like I'm into those. And I don't go into those for energy, right? Those aren't the ones. I go into those for the Yorkie maybe has food allergies or has a weird skin thing. And I ask questions about my dog, regardless of if my dog suffers from a skin allergy or not. They don't know. I want people to answer my question so that I can get into a conversation with them. So specific, you can specific that one, get it down. And then as far as the Peloton user goes, I think that's pretty broad. So you could probably come down to that too. Like, I don't know the settings of Peloton, but I'm sure like long, short, whatever, you could come down. But don't cut any of those out. Just take 5 days for one, take 5 days for another, take 5 days for another. And then you can, yes, Serena says, look up the hashtags for those. You can do it, but focus your content to just one for a period of time so that you can interact with just the one, get those people. And then after you start seeing a decline, yes, they are. Peloton is an entire culture. It really is. It's a great resource for our business. Then move to the next one. That's the point of your pillars. It's so you're a diverse person. We all are. But one of the struggles that we face is we are everywhere all the time, but that's a harder niche to find. It's a harder line to throw versus the net, right? So if you're going to be the dog mom, you can specifically throw your net over those people, and then you're going to pull in people closer and build those relationships faster than if you had a net in a line in the dog mom, a line in the Peloton mom, a line in the teenage mom. That's one option, right? Or the net specific. Does that make sense?
Yes, ma'am. Thank you so much.
Jennifer, do you have anything to add to that?
No, I thought that was good. Like that was a great way to explain it.
I think we all are. I think that also goes to just Talita disciplining your mind. And I say this for myself too. So you're not doing anything wrong because you're reaching tons of people. It's just disciplining your mind for more structure, more planning. I'm the worst at planning. I have bought every single book, course, anything that says High Achievers Playbook, Success Journal. You know what the Success Journal looks like? A blank piece of freaking paper that has goal, time block, water countdown, notes, like 200 times on a paper. That's it. So there is no secret. It's just steady to get to the success. and then to be very focused in that time. Yes, it's the planning is good. The execution kills me. I say that all the time. I've got the belief. I've got the vision. I know what the heck I need to do. It's the action, like this focused action that we have to take to get there. I listened to the AI one. I love that. Chat GPT, downloaded it, haven't done anything with it since. Sampling, same way. Got all these Google forms made, like Jennifer talked about, haven't implemented one fucking thing. Like it's the same thing, right? We all have those struggles. Just be steady and constantly get better. Just chip away every single time. Give yourself some grace that you're a normal person. And then remember that when you're talking to people, they're normal people too. They need time. They need love. I always tell my nurses at the school, I've worked full time, you guys, as a registered nurse. I lead our health services and I tell them, love the baby. So loving the baby, love the kids, love your husband, love the baby, love the baby, love yourself, right? Love your business. Remember, love the baby, not bark at the baby, you know? So make it fun.
Yeah, I
Hey,
love that you said,
I have
go
a
ahead.
question if you don't mind. I know we're running over. Thank you, Kyla, for doing this today. I didn't get to take a lot of notes, but one thing I was wondering, you were talking about what kind of post to give, like your samplers, what to get in the post. Could you maybe shoot out a quick something I can give my samplers because they don't know what to post?
So you mean like what to give them that they are sampling and you're trying to get them to bring referrals to you. That's what you mean.
Yeah, that's correct.
I'm going to go into the chat. So if you're feeling brave, this is my short text that I tell people, whether they're sampling or first time drivers, and I do the first. So like IYFB. That's how I do my short text. That's just my brain. If you're feeling brave, go post this, tag me. After you get your system perfected, I'm going to help you get it for free. Getting back around to something I know works. I'm so ready for mental clarity and mood support. That's what she spoke of, right? Any mamas like me, there's your question. There's where they're going to say, heart, me, sign me up, whatever. Because I want an accountability buddy, right? It's not, hey, I want to sell you. Hey, I want to get my 2 for free. So I'm calling on all friends. It's, I want an accountability buddy. So it's them saying, I'm starting this, join me. I'm going to go to brunch today. Anybody want a mimosa? Like, it's like that, you know, so that way it's more fun. So hopefully that will help you. That's just one example. I think a lot of times, JoJo, we probably just overthink it. So think simple, like for the samplers. I think sampling too is hard. I'll just be honest with you guys. I struggle. I'm not near as good. And one of my goals is to get better at sampling. I know Jennifer's got a whole side business on sampling. I don't. I could give shit away for free and they won't do it, but I can sell a full pack like no one's business. I'm confident in them taking time for their body for transformation. Maybe that's why I've just painted that picture. I'm not sure. So my samplers, a lot of times that text goes to new orders and not as many times sampling. So Jennifer might have a better text for like a sampler to post than that, but that's just my business personally.
Thank you. I tried to copy and paste that, but it won't let me. I'm a Droid user.
I can text it to Jen and then she can put it wherever if y'all want. It's no big deal.
That'd be awesome. Or somebody private message it to me or something. I appreciate that. Thank you. I like it.
Of course, anytime. I'm an open book. Anything I have, you guys feel free to go to my social, go to Facebook or wherever, and you can take anything you need or just message me and say, where did you get this? Or can you send me this without any graphic on it? I mean, just let me know. I have no problem.
Does anybody else have any more questions they want to ask Kyla? Nope. Okay, y'all. Thank you so much, Kyla, for doing this. I appreciate you so much. Next week, we will not be doing a fundamental series. There's a big training with Lavelle. So you want to plug into that. And then we'll be back with Sheila Fasoni at the end of our fundamental series. So if everybody wants to just take 2 minutes, go to the potty, refresh their drink, then we'll go into a guided work with me right after. See you in 2 minutes.
By the way, guys, my sister is on this Zoom and she just copied and pasted and sent it to me in Messenger. So I've got it. I've got it saved. I appreciate it.
I have to go, but when Jen comes back, can someone please remind her that the meeting is still being recorded? She forgot to stop it.
Yeah, thanks, lovely. I'll get that done.
All right, thank you.
For anybody that's in boards, I've put that script that Kyla sent us into the samples board folder. So just go to the samples folder and you'll see it in there.
Okay.
Jen, you're still recording.
Thank you.